Pokémon. For decades, it was a global phenomenon, capturing hearts, inspiring countless fans, and taking the world by storm. But if you've been following the franchise recently, you've probably noticed something isn't quite right. The magic that once made Pokémon feel like the biggest thing in gaming and anime seems to be fading. So what happened? How did a franchise that once seemed untouchable fall into decline? In this video, we're diving into why Pokémon isn't what it used to be, and why it's their own fault. Pokémon games used to feel like carefully crafted adventures, engaging and packed with content. But in recent years, something has changed. Instead of delivering proper experiences, Game Freak has been throwing out rushed, unfinished titles, and it's getting hard to ignore. From glitches to performance issues that make gameplay frustrating, it's clear that Pokémon's development is moving too fast for its own good. The question is, why? The biggest example, Pokémon Scarlet and Violet. These games launched in a state so broken that players were falling through the map, character models were stretching into nightmare fuel, and frame rates tanked to single digits. And yet, despite all this, they sold millions. This isn't a new problem either. Sword and Shield felt incomplete. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were riddled with bugs. And even the beloved Legends Arceus had some technical issues. The truth is, Game Freak is being pushed to release a new Pokémon game almost every year, leaving little room for innovation or quality. If the franchise sticks to this schedule, the cycle of rushed, unfinished games will never stop. For over 25 years, the Pokémon anime was built around one thing: Ash's journey to become a Pokémon master. Whether you loved him or thought he overstayed his welcome, his story gave the series a clear identity. But now, that identity is gone. With Ash out of the picture, the anime feels lost. And no, this isn't just about nostalgia. Something really is missing. Pokémon Horizons might have new characters and fresh ideas, but it doesn't feel like Pokémon. The bonds between Ash and his Pokémon, the rivalries, the gym battles. So much of what made the anime special has either been watered down or removed entirely. Even in its weakest seasons, Ash's journey always had something tying it together. But now, the anime feels like it's searching for a new direction and struggling to find one. Maybe it just needs time to resonate. Only time will tell. Pokémon is the highest grossing franchise of all time. It's bigger than Mario, it's even bigger than Star Wars, and it's even bigger than my personal favorite, Hello Kitty. So with all that money, you'd think they'd be putting it back into making the best games possible, right? Yeah, not really. Instead, it feels like the Pokémon company is more focused on making quick cash than actually improving the franchise. And it's starting to show. Look at Scarlet and Violet. These games launched full of bugs and glitches, and instead of fixing them properly, we got DLC that could have been part of the base game. Even the anime and TCG feel like they're being designed more around selling products than delivering quality experiences. The sad truth is, Pokémon isn't struggling, it's thriving. And that's the problem. As long as we keep buying, they have no reason to slow down, fix their games, or put more care into what they release. And unless something changes, this cycle isn't going to stop anytime soon. Pokémon used to be something you couldn't put down. Every new game felt like a huge event, every new season of the anime felt exciting. But now, a lot of fans are starting to feel exhausted. Instead of hype, there's this weird feeling of burnout. It feels kinda boring now. And honestly, it makes sense why we feel like that. Think about it. New Pokémon games used to drop every few years, giving players time to actually enjoy them. Now, we're getting something almost every year, whether it's a mainline game, a remake, or spin-offs. The anime doesn't have the same long-term journey to follow anymore, and even the TCG is constantly pushing new sets. It's like Pokémon never stops, and instead of making the franchise feel bigger, it's making it feel disposable, money hungry. When there's always a new game around the corner, nothing feels special anymore. And if Pokémon doesn't slow down, more and more fans might start leaving for good. Legends Arceus, however, was a huge improvement and an amazing change. Every new Pokémon generation introduces something new, whether it's Mega Evolution, Dynamax, or Terrestrialization. But when you step back and look at the big picture, how much has really changed? Because at its core, Pokémon is still following the same formula it's been using for decades. And while that consistency is nice, it's also starting to hold the series back. Think about it. How does Scarlet and Violet really feel compared to X and Y? Or even Black and White? The graphics improve, new gimmicks get added. But the actual gameplay? It's basically the same, just with more hand-holding and fewer meaningful features. It's all good versus evil, 8 badges, catch legendary, become champion. Game Freak experiments, sure, but most new mechanics get tossed aside after one generation. While real innovation, like deeper side quests with real impact or more challenging trainer battles, barely happens. Pokemon doesn't need to reinvent itself completely, but if it keeps relying on the same old formula, it's only a matter of time before even the most loyal fans start getting bored. We're taking a step in the right direction with Legend ZA, which is reintroducing Megas, addressing and understanding the wants of fans and acting on it. Pokemon is still massive. It's one of the biggest franchises in the world, and no matter how many issues people point out, it keeps selling millions. But here's the question, how long can this last? Because for the first time in decades, it feels like Pokemon's future isn't guaranteed. If things don't change, where does the franchise even go from here? We've already seen cracks forming, frustrated fans, declining game quality, and an anime that feels like it's struggling to find its identity and what direction to go. The next few years are crucial. Will Game Freak finally slow down and focus on quality? Will the anime find a new direction that resonates with fans? Or will Pokemon just keep coasting on brand recognition until people finally start walking away? The franchise has survived a lot, but the choices made now could decide if Pokemon stays on top or if its golden era is truly over. The ball is in their court. With everything we've talked about, the rushed games, the lack of innovation, the frustrated fanbase, you might think Pokemon is doomed. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be. Pokemon has bounced back before, and if the right changes are made, it could easily win back the fans who feel like the magic is fading. We've seen Pokemon get it right. Games like Legends Arceus proved that fresh ideas can work. Remakes like Heart Gold and Soul Silver showed how older fans and new players can be satisfied. And when the anime takes risks, like giving us Ash's Alola arc, it can create some of the best stories in the series. The potential is there. Pokemon just needs to listen, take its time, and bring back the creativity that made it special in the first place. If they do, the best era of Pokemon might not be behind us, it could still be ahead. Pokemon isn't just a franchise, it's a part of so many people's lives, but right now, it feels like it's at crossroads. It could keep rushing out unfinished games and forgettable stories, or take a step back and bring back the magic that made it special in the first place. The good news, there's still hope. We've seen Pokemon get it right before. The question is, will they do it again before it's too late? Let me know what you think in the comments. Can Pokemon make a comeback, or is its golden age behind us?